Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here today with Rich Robledo. He is coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome, Rich.
Thank you, Debbie.
So excited to have you. I'm trying to think how we met. We met because we are part of Hope Living, Hope Residence out of Florida, a real estate network group, and you reached out. And when you reached out, I loved it because my son and I started reaching out to people and hadn't really made a lot of connections. And I was so excited when you reached out. I'm like, I love this guy. He's proactive. So you were really the only one that reached out. So kudos to you. I will never forget you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So we're going to introduce you properly and then we'll have some fun. And I can't wait to learn about your business and one specific thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. So Rich Robledo is a multifaceted entrepreneur and a highly respected figure in the business world. As the founder of Cigars and Conversation, a dynamic community hub, he has successfully brought together a diverse community of innovators and collaborators from various business backgrounds. Along with his networking venture, Rich is an accomplished real estate broker. With an unwavering commitment to client care, he founded the Robledo Group as a prominent player in the industry. The cornerstone of his company is built upon principles of trust, integrity, transparency, and accountability, distinguishing the Robledo Group as a market leader. Boasting an impressive 22-year tenure in sales, specializing in the vibrant Las Vegas area, Rich possesses an unparalleled understanding of the local real estate market. Furthermore, Rich's remarkable ability to anticipate the needs and desires of his high net worth clients, coupled with his innate talent for locating the perfect properties, has earned him a reputation as an invaluable asset within the real estate industry. In addition, Rich is a leader at the Caldera Club, which serves to recruit, support, and advocate for candidates for public office who support private sector job creation, low taxation, and a responsible regulatory environment. Rich also finds fulfillment in his philanthropic endeavors. He has served on the Salvation Army Board of Directors, working diligently to support and uplift the less fortunate members of the community. He dedicates his time as a regular mentor at the Boys and Girls Club and YMCA, guiding and inspiring young minds to reach their full potential. With his comprehensive expertise on entrepreneurship, real estate, and commitment to community service, Rich continues to leave an indelible mark as a visionary leader, influential force, and catalyst for positive change in the business landscape. Well, welcome, Rich. This is so fun to have you, and I can't wait to jump into our conversation. So I always like to start with, where were you raised? Where were you from? I'm 100% Sicilian, but I'm from California, but I like to say I'm 100% Sicilian. So what's your background? Where are you from? Where were you raised? And how did you get into real estate?
I was born in a small ranching town off of I-10 in Texas with a population of about 2,000 kids, 2,000
Wow.
people.
Wow.
Um, Moved to Shreveport, Louisiana in the late 80s to go to middle school and high school. In the late 80s, my father lost everything in the oil business. So as he was wandering across the U.S. to find a job, he stopped in a small town in northern Nevada called Virginia City.
Never
In
heard of it.
Virginia, correct. Most people haven't. In Virginia City, he was at a bar and he got a job working in a gold mine. So
Oh,
he
wow.
called me my sophomore year, early my sophomore year, and said, "Hey, we're going to move to Virginia City." Now, the school I was going to in Shreveport, Louisiana, was roughly 1,000 kids, and it was a magnet program. So I had 1,000 kids in my class. When we moved to Virginia City, there were 15 kids in my class. So I was a kid that was academically and athletically gifted. However, my mother was a teenage mom, alcoholic dad, and they didn't quite know what to do with me. So then we moved to Virginia City. There was 15 kids, and um, went from not playing sports to playing basketball and baseball. Uh, Graduated in '92, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I remember one evening, Debbie, jumping on a trampoline with some friends. And when I jumped up, I looked at my friends, and I told myself, if I don't get out of where I'm at, I will be here forever. So the
Wow.
next day, I drove down to the Air Force recruiter and I told him, I said, I need to get out. And he looked at
Wow.
me because the previous year he was trying to get a package for me to go to the Air Force Academy because I tested very well on the NASVAB test. And he looked at me and he goes, Rich, when you go into the military this time, you're going to go in as an enlisted guy, not as an officer. And I told him, I said, if I don't leave now, then I'm just going to get into trouble. So
Right.
joined the United States Air Force and I moved to Vegas in 1993 when it was a very small town. And Vegas has been incredible for me because I've been able to see it change and evolve and
Wow. A
grow.
lot.
Yeah. So after I did my 4 years here in Vegas, I always talk to people and I was spending my last summer here before I went to college in Reno. And the gentleman that sold the cable to us at our apartment, I started talking to him and said, so you're doing a coax cable. And he turned around and he looked at me. He goes, do you know what I'm doing? And I said, in the Air Force, I worked on everything electronics on the F-15.
Wow.
And he goes, well, you would be really good at this. So I went down, I figured I needed a job for the summer, right? I got out in May in 97, uh, put in an application at the cable company on Monday, interviewed Wednesday, hired on Friday. And they had this sales program for apartment complexes. Got hired, and Debbie, my first check after 2 weeks in training in sales, I made what I made in a month in the Air Force.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That
And
must have
now
felt
on
so
reflect,
good.
it felt good, but in reflection, my aptitude uh, was electronics. My passion was people. And the
Mm.
only way I figured that out was by doing my 4 years in the service, and they would lock me away in a hangar by myself for a couple of months to diagnose issues with electronics. But really, my passion was being in the snack bar, just talking to them as they came in. And I've been in sales ever since. And I was buying my second house from a buddy of mine who was in the military, and we bought the second house. And he goes, Rich, I really think you should try real estate. And I said,
Oh.
Mike, I just bought my second home. I'm doing okay. I don't think I. Why would you? Why would you suggest real estate? And he looked at me and he goes, Rich, I do very well in real estate, and I think you would do better than me. And I said,
Oh,
why
oh,
is
it's so
that?
sweet.
He goes, nobody likes me and everybody loves you. So that's why I think you'd be successful in real estate. And I remember going back to the cable office, right? Cox Communications. And I asked my direct
Mm.
supervisor, I said, Lisa, somebody suggested I try real estate. I think I'm going to possibly get my license. And she looked at me and she goes, so why do you want to try real estate? I mean, you're really successful here. You're one of our top guys. You could really grow with the company. I said, yeah, but somebody suggested it. Maybe why not try it? And she goes, well, there's a lot of real estate agents, Rich, and I tried it and I
Mm.
wasn't successful. So maybe you should just stay where you are. And I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, I'm like, okay, maybe it didn't work for her. And then I set up a meeting with the vice president of marketing, and I asked Al the same thing. I said, Al, somebody suggested I try real estate. I think I might try it. Same rebuttal. Rich, you're really successful. You're one of our top guys. Why do you want to try something that you don't know anything about? Then he goes, there's a lot of real estate agents. And then he also said that he had tried real estate himself and wasn't successful. So after he told me that, I've had two people tell me I should kind of be happy where I'm at. Why
Mhm.
try? I went and signed up for the real estate class, and that
Of
started
course.
the right when you have two people tell you that you should just be really it was two things. You should be happy with what you're doing. You're really
Right.
successful. You change something different. And then, but it was really that both of these people who were my supervisors had both tried it and they weren't
Mhm.
successful. So they assumed
Right.
I wasn't going to be successful.
Along with not wanting to lose you.
Yeah, probably.
But right, no, it's that's what they knew. They knew they tried it and it didn't work for them. And I think that was the spark and the fire that was under you to go, I think I'm gonna give this a try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. So I got licensed in 2002.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I love the journey because it wasn't like you sought out that at all. Okay, I have to
No,
ask, where's your accent from? You have a little accent.
maybe Southern accent, right?
Yeah.
Being from Texas.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it still, and you've been in Las Vegas a while, I think. It's very cute. So you've worn many hats: entrepreneur, real estate broker, community leader, and philanthropist. When you think about success, how do you personally define it?
I define it as the lives that have the ability to change, right? Or the spark that you give somebody else when they see somebody else doing it and they can see it in themselves, and sometimes you don't see the effects, but it could be from a casual meeting, from somebody seeing you. One of my first mentors told me early on when we were doing volunteer work at a at-risk school. He told me, he goes, Rich, you're going to go to that school. And when you go to that school, you're going to wear a button-down shirt and a jacket. And I told him, I'm like, yeah, but Rob, the this demographic of people aren't buying my homes. And he looked at me and he asked me, he goes, Rich, how many positive Mexican male role models did you have? And I said, I didn't
Mm,
have one. He goes,
wow.
correct. He goes, so you look like these kids. And these kids are going to see them in you. And you're not going to know whose life you affect, but you're going to show up. He
Oh,
goes,
I
you're going to
love it.
show up, you're going to show them what's possible. He goes, and
Mm,
not good or bad. Some of these kids' parents are, bartenders, servers, porters, and landscapers. He goes, you need them to see what is possible. And there's no better role model than somebody who looks just like them. Right. So
oh, I
it's
love it.
always success is not easily defined, but it's defined by the people you inspire that you may never know that you
Right.
inspired by just being who you are and doing the right thing.
Oh, I love it. And leveling
And
up.
that
And
and that's
that's amazing.
changed it. I mean, as I've gotten older, it was at one time, I wanted an elementary school named after myself, right? That was one of my goals. And
Oh,
somebody asked me, they're like, well, typically if you get an elementary school named after yourself uh, in the community, it means you've done enough for the community. And
right.
now really I don't need my name on a building. I just need to know that somebody saw me and they can say, you know what, Rich Robledo did it. So I
Right.
can do this thing.
I love it. What a great story. That is so true. Success, that is success, is when someone you might not know you affected, or you get a text or someone says something and you didn't even know you were doing anything. So that's really, I love that. Okay, so let's skip over to Cigars and Conversation. I mean, you are just a trailblazer. What inspired you to create Cigars and Conversation, and how has building a community of innovators shaped your journey?
It started November 22, right? So in social media, I don't really tell a lot of people what I do. But these young guys, for some reason, follow me and they see me smoking cigars. So I had three young guys reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, Rich, I want to let's get together. Let's try to have a cigar. Let's have a drink. I can I hang out?" And in November, I went home and I told my wife, I said, "Babe, these guys want to hang out, right? Like I don't know them, but they see me and they want to hang out." In February, so this was in November, Debbie, and then in February, my wife goes, "Babe, what'd you do for those three guys?" And I was just like, "I didn't do anything." She goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I didn't. I haven't thought about it since you said anything." And she goes, "Remember how difficult it was when you reached out to somebody older and asked for help?" And I said, "I don't. I was always the first one in the office and the last one to leave. So I always had mentors, Debbie, that would either take me to breakfast. They would come over to my desk or cubicle and say, "Hey, I know you're here early. What if we have breakfast before you come in?" Or,
Love
"Hey, I know you're here late. Why don't we go have dinner? Let me take you for a drink. I want to know why you're here." And my wife was like, well, there it is. Not everybody's life is as blessed as yours. Some people need to actively seek this out. And if these young guys are looking up to you, you need to give them some. So I called the three guys and I'm like, "Hey, let's smoke a cigar." They all three had jobs, so they couldn't leave until, 6 o'clock. So I called the country club. I said, "Hey, I got a group of guys that we're going to hang out. You give me a couple of hours, just give me the patio." And I asked the three guys, I need you guys all here because this is for you. And then I asked one of them, I'm like, "Do you mind if I invite some of my friends? Because I don't see my friends. We get so busy that I don't get to connect with my friends as well. And do you guys mind if I just put something on Instagram?" And they're like, "No, we would love that. We'd love to meet more of your friends." So I posted a small image on Instagram, and the first night we probably had 35 or 40 people show up.
Wow, that's incredible. That is so
No,
great.
no agenda, just a casual meetup, and everybody was like, "We need a private Facebook group. We need this and we need that." And I literally told them at the end of the night, I'm like, "This is it. We're doing it once. Like, ask your questions, meet my friends." And then at the end of the night, we're getting ready to leave. And a good friend of mine who had sold a company for 150 million was sitting at a table with four of my friends. And all four of them were just asking him questions, right? And you could see the engagement.
Mm,
And
yeah.
my buddy was just sitting there casually smoking a cigar and telling them, "Hey, this is this and this is that. And maybe you should think about this." And at that moment, I made the decision. I'm like, "You know what? We've lost that. We need
Right.
a space for community and for building." And then, so we started it up, right? And then after the fourth month, I told somebody, I'm like, "Listen, if these guys are showing up, I feel like I owe them something." So I then started to bring in speakers. And then I was just like, "You know what? If these young guys and young ladies don't know what's happening in the community," I felt like it was, you know, my, I had to show them, the homelessness we have, the food
Mm,
insecurity, the education issues we have, military people that need assistance. So I started bringing in guest speakers and they would just kind of talk, and I told them, I'm like, "Listen, you get 3 minutes because I hate going to little events and people talk for too long and you're not going to
right.
ask for it." Right. So as it's grown, I've had to make rules. Right. Because I
Right.
told people, because it's my event. It's not a networking event. It's a casual meetup of friends. And I'm just blessed after being here for so long that my Rolodex is really powerful. So people show up. And one of my favorite events was I had the governor of Nevada show up.
Wow, that's incredible. That is
Right. So
just
we go in the back and you forget how far you've come
right.
because I'm sure as yourself, you're constantly pushing the goalposts,
Yeah.
right? And we don't often look at how far we've come because we're always
Absolutely.
looking forward. So I took the governor in the back of the country club, and he met some of my friends. And then I said, "Governor, would you mind talking, to my guys up front?" And as we were walking with the governor through the country club, we opened up the door, and there was just silence in the group, right? And the governor was like, "Rich, I'm going to give you I'm going to hang out for like 10 minutes, right? That's all I'm going to give you because I've got to get going. I'm busy." And his chief of staff was like, "Rich, we'll give your guys 10 minutes." And he ended up hanging out, 30 or 40 minutes and went around the room, introduced himself to everybody.
Oh,
At the end of the night, I had three guys call me and they're like, I never would have thought I would have met the governor of Nevada. And I called my wife and I told her when he was there that the governor was at Cigars and Conversations. Right. So it's and we had the event last night. We had a buddy of mine speak, and he was just like, Dane, he goes, what you've got is something special. Right. And I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, I said, I just kind of want everybody to know what's happening in our city. I want everybody to know that these are good friends. And it's everything from I had a 20-year-old kid who's trying to figure out what direction he's going to in life, to a couple of guys that are worth a couple of 100 million just smoking cigars. But I pulled that young kid away before he left, and he goes, man, I would have never thought that I'd have the
oh,
opportunity to meet all these people. And I said, you got the opportunity because I know your mom and dad. So thank your mom and dad. Right.
mm,
But you also took the initiative to reach out to me. Everybody wants to talk and do something. A lot of times people just want to talk and they just want their shoulders, their back padded for effort. And this kid, when I met him this week, had a list of questions.
oh,
And he goes, okay, I know your time is valuable. So these are the questions I need to ask. I said, great, let's go through them. Boom, 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 boom. And then for him to be there last night on the way out, I chatted with somebody last night, and he goes, you could tell that that kid was really put together because he came and he got dressed up.
I was going to ask, yeah, you must have, I mean, a dress code at a country club, but he came dressed up.
He came dressed up, he came ready, and he did a really good job of, of introducing himself to people, and kind of, getting comfortable. Another great compliment, Debbie, was I've had three parents reach out to me and they're like, hey, can I bring my son? Right. My kid's a senior in high school, or my kid's a
Wow.
junior in college. And I asked one lady once, I said, so why do you want to bring your son? And she looked at me. She's in charge of the NAACP out here. And she
Okay.
goes, Rich, you move different. And so do your friends. And that's something that I can't teach my son. It
Mm.
is something that he has to see. And I'm like, oh, all right. Right. And that was another great compliment when you have three parents say, hey, I really want my kid to see this space, this movement, and how
Hmm.
you kind of walk around the room and talk to everybody, but really how you make everybody comfortable and how you make everybody want to come back to the next
That is incredible. That is so commendable. You've created this community, and it started as cigars and hanging out, and it turned into just mentorship at the highest degree with the highest, and then bringing in all these young people. So, how does it work? Do people, I mean, do you pay for everyone every time they come? Are you, what's how do they bring cigars? Do you have all, I mean, it would get very expensive if you're doing this once a
one.
week.
Yeah, so I used to bring cigars for people, right? Because I felt like I owed them something. And then a good friend of mine told me, he goes, listen, that cigar you're bringing, some of these people don't understand what they have. So start telling them to bring their own, right? Because he saw the, half lit, and, cigars is like wine tasting. It's a very,
Yeah,
it's difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So,
absolutely.
and I pay for everything, right? So I've just paid for the space, and it's an open bar. So the country club was like, "Hey, we'll let them, pay for each drink," and
Oh, so they can,
the country club loves it because it's one of their highest nights in alcohol sales.
right. I can imagine. Well, when you told me about this months ago, it's like, well, I do not like cigars, but maybe I can get my husband to do this. But I'm kind of the social person. So he likes to play golf, though, but I just love it. It is just, I love the whole mentorship thing. We have to go to commercial break. We'll be right back. But I love mentorship. So I want to talk about that when we get back. And we'll be right back with Mastering the Art of Success with Rich.
Mike Zorich, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here with Rich Robledo. He is coming to us from Las Vegas, and we are just learning so much about him and his background. It's just such a great success story. So I loved Cigars and Conversation, and now I have to figure out what I can do. I just love the whole giving back and the mentoring. I love to mentor and coach and watch people just fly. So let's talk about a few of your mentors, and then a few mentees that you're mentoring. So share who were some people in your life that stood out. It seemed like you had a lot of them.
Yeah. Rob Moore, Monty Miller were are the two, right, that kind of helped me in the direction, right, to kind of shift that sail just that 1 degree. I think being raised that you always need, I believe, a guardian angel, right? Somebody on that right shoulder to say, hey, I've made that mistake. You don't need to make that mistake.
Right.
Right. Hey, how about planning for this? How about Rich, you need to give back to the community. And I'm like, well, I've taken it, right? And those are the things that young people seek out in me. They're like, hey, I see you everywhere. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And I'm like, it was not innate in me. It was taught to me, right? So I have to teach people, like, listen, I was told that we need to give back and be good. So these are the programs. There was a young guy this week who reached out to me and goes, hey, man, you're everywhere. What is a nonprofit I can get involved with? And I introduced him to the CEO of the nonprofit, and he went to volunteer yesterday, and he showed up at Cigars and Conversation. He goes, it was amazing to see the need that Las Vegas has, and then being able to, to help. So Rob Moore and Monty Miller are two incredible mentors that I still see today. And then I've got a couple of young guys they kind of ask, like, hey, what about this? And I said, listen, if it's not written, you'll never get there. Right.
Good.
I told somebody at dinner last night, I said, look for the engines, cut the anchors.
Oh, love
Right?
that.
It is tough to propel in life if you're constantly looking at what the anchors are. And he asks a great question. He goes, Rich, how do I move forward if I continue to think about what I lost? And I said, the vision you have has to be bigger than what you lost. And then you've got to remove the guilt, the doubt, and that limiting belief that you don't deserve it. Because if you don't remove that, you're going to replay that same cycle. Right? So I've got Rob Moore and Monty Miller as my current mentors that I like to spend time with and listen to. And then I've got a handful of young guys and girls that ask questions. What is this? What's that? Right? And it is a mix of Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale, Dale Carnegie, all of the old, the
Right.
old guys that have lit the way for us that, you write it down, do it, work on how you feel before you deserve it. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. My only job is to have the dream and the action, and the how is going to figure itself out.
Awesome. I love it. That's kind of the gist of my book, The Mindset in Motion Method. It is so true. It's so great. I can't wait. I'm in the process of finishing it and I wish it was done. I can't. I'm so excited to bring it out. But that is so true. And for the young guy you're talking to, don't look back. You're not going that way. Going that
Correct.
way. Look forward as we do. We said we look forward. We're not looking back. So you kind of forget about all the things you've done because we're just so focused on going forward and doing more and exploring more and learning more. That's great. Mentorship is so important. It's one of my favorite chapters actually in my book. So with more than 2 decades in Las Vegas real estate, what's one lesson about perseverance and client care that's been pivotal in your success?
In 2006, I lost everything.
Oh, wow.
Between 2007 and 2008, I had 7 friends commit suicide
Oh, geez. Oh, so.
because of what was lost.
Mm,
Right. And I believe that as successful people, we validate ourselves with what we accumulate, where we live, where
mhm.
our kids go to school, what country club we belong to. And during that period, I figured out that everything I have is on loan from God. I have no attachment to anything material. I have no attachment to difficulties, right? Because I know
Mhm.
you're going to come out of it,
Right.
right? And
You did.
I think it's having faith that it's going to get better.
Mhm.
Suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
Right.
And it is having that grit to know, but it was also during that time having mentors to tell you, hey, this is not your fault.
Mhm.
This is happening to everybody. What can you change? What can you do? And don't give up. Right. So it is this thing of knowing that everything is temporary, right? Everything is
Right.
temporary. Just keep going through. Right. So that's one
Absolutely.
of the things of perseverance. And then what is important to me is not going to be important to somebody else. Right. So and really clients' needs are listening to what they're fearful for. What are they worried about? What are their needs instead of my needs? How can I help them transition or make this next chapter fluid? This year, I've had 26 friends and clients lose parents and partners.
Mm. Yeah, it's that
So
time right now.
it's that time. I'm going to more funerals than weddings. Right? I'm
Right.
51, turning 52 in November, and it's just that next period. I've got a listing appointment on Sunday because a client's mother-in-law lost her husband in the spring. She's now at the place that almost a year, right, to where she's ready to move on. I had a client that we were in escrow and canceled it yesterday because his mother-in-law is not ready to leave her home and move to
Mm.
Vegas. Right? So it's giving a lot of people grace and
Right.
not trying to push on anything, right? It is, hey, I'm here now and I'm going to be selling real estate for the next 5 years. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready. I'm not here to force anything, right? So you learn a lot about A, having faith in yourself, but B, really sitting down and listening to what that client needs, and asking a lot of questions, right? Making them comfortable, and then realizing, hey, you're not ready to have this conversation yet. Let's come back in a month. Let's come back in 2 months and address it at that time.
That is so true. I always, in my business networking group, I always say to the group, I don't care if someone's looking to buy tomorrow or in 5 years from now. I just would like an introduction so I can meet them and help them and ask questions. And they can ask questions and see what it is, set themselves up for success. A lot of times people come to us and they're ready to go now, but sometimes they just need to talk to someone so that they can be prepared when the time comes. I had a client was referred to me and she's like, oh, I'm not looking to buy for 5 years or so. And the person in BNI knew me and said, no, you should really ask your questions to Debbie. She'll help you. 2 days later, she saw a house she wanted, and we ended up going through hoops to get the lender and get pre-approved and 5 offers, and we ended up getting it. But it was, I didn't expect that. I was expecting it
Yeah.
was going to be a couple years, but having that, I think that is so important for agents, new agents, to kind of know it's not like you're looking to sell a house. We are looking to help people. We're looking to see what it is in their timeline. I've been working with an 89-year-old for years, and we've become friends, and she's now finally making that step. I am now ready at 89. And but you just have to give people grace. They're on their own schedule. No need to push them. There'll be other deals we'll be doing, but in the same time, we're developing relationships. And I can see you're the same type of person. My clients may come to me as a client, but they all turn into friends. It's
Correct.
just, it's very, very personal. I love those stories. Many of our listeners are entrepreneurs and realtors striving to stand out. What principles from the Robledo Group, trust, integrity, transparency, accountability, can they apply in their own careers today?
I think it's just, I think a lot of times people don't really think about what the vision is that they're looking to build. Entrepreneurs want to start businesses and they don't clearly define what that business is going to be, right? So I think if you're an entrepreneur, you should know exactly what you're looking to sell and then what that end goal is, right? Like what are the services and the hoops you need to do to provide that service, and then look at the market to see who else is out there that you're competing with, right? There's no reason to compete against a space that is, in my opinion, heavily crowded when there's so many startups trying to do that same space, or unless you're going to have something so unique that you're going to be able to take it to the masses quickly, right? I think
Right.
some people love the idea of being an entrepreneur and then get lost in the thought process. So it's having a clear
Absolutely.
idea, right, with yourself, your partner, and then with action, massive action behind it.
Absolutely. Clarity. As I was writing my book, my chapter yesterday, I wrote a little quote about clarity. We can't, we can't see in dirty water. It has to be clear for us to see deeper. And that clarity piece you just mentioned, you have to write it out. I joined a course to do a TED Talk. And then as I was answering their questions, I said, I need to get more clarity. And that's when the book started. I started
Yeah.
writing the book because I had so many topics and I'm like, okay, this is going in so many directions. And then I ended up probably having like 4 topics and I ended up changing to the mindset one. But clarity is so important. I love that. You work with high net worth clients who expect excellence. What does it take to anticipate their needs and consistently deliver at that level?
I think that to deal with some of the ultra high net worth people, my biggest thing to be successful is availability, right?
Mm,
And then trying to bring off market deals, trying to bring opportunities and something that shows value. Ultra high net worth people, mine, don't like to do a lot of chit chat. They want to get straight to the point. Rich, what have you brought me that somebody else hasn't? Right. So it's bringing them stuff that is not on the market, bringing them stuff right before it hits the market, and being short, direct, and concise. They don't need the A to B. I had my knee done last year, and the doctor walked in, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, I'm going to tell you why I love this guy. And she goes, why? I said, because he's not even going to ask how you're feeling. He's not going to ask anything about you, and he's going to be a little dismissive of people. He is here to do one job. And he repaired my knee, and he did an incredible job. No chit chat, just did it. And I think the ultra high net worth people are at that place because they can be so ferociously focused that
Right.
they get to where they want to be and don't think about the pain to get there. And that's what they expect from real estate advisor, financial planners, right? Everybody in their circle kind of operates like they do.
That's
And
true.
they don't want to, I see it. And you can see it when they meet somebody else new and they skirt around the question instead of getting directly to the ask or bringing something of value. And they're like, you've you've absolutely wasted my time. You should have done this an hour ago, and now it's no because you should have just done it because we wasted an hour.
Right. We're busy, they're busy and they just need to get on as business people are and just get the information and the facts. Some people need a little bit more talking to, which is fine. It's not good or bad. It's just they might need a little more information, and other people just want, let's just get to the facts. You can appreciate that. So let's discuss buyer and seller profiles. What is life like in Las Vegas? I know when I go to Las Vegas, 3 days is max. I don't even gamble, but just the activity and the chaos. And I do like chaos. I like to be busy, but 3 days is my max. And then I've also heard stories of buyers relocating from California. I'm from California. And within a short time, they move back. And you can talk about other states as well. And is that normal or unique to certain areas?
I think it's normal. People want to move to Vegas because of tax advantages, right?
Right.
They think it's going to be easy to travel back and forth, right? Sometimes they move here and they're like, I miss the sunshine, I miss the location. I'm dealing with two buyers now. I'm dealing with one buyer, and he can't wait to move here because his grandkids are out here. And his
Okay.
friend looked at me and goes, there's no way I would ever leave LA. They deserve the money I give them because of what LA has done for me. Right. And it's amazing outside of the strip, we have a community with great private schools, great programs for kids. The LA art scene or the LA art scene and the Las Vegas scene are going to build a large museum. So we are bringing culture to Las Vegas, right? And the fallacy also is because we have gotten expensive. There's not a lot of first time home buyers. So it's trying to find the buyer that's already in the house that's looking to move up. The ultra high net worth clients are moving here, but they're traveling back and forth.
So are they going back and forth between LA? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Correct.
And is there a train? Did I hear there was a train that was going to go?
There's Brightline is coming, but to get from Vegas with JSX to Burbank, LAX, John Wayne, and Long Beach, it is really so easy to come back and forth that you can get there in the morning and come back that evening. Um, it is just interesting to see the amount of people that or split the time between Southern California and Northern California. I've got a client now. He's been in Sea Ranch up in Northern Nevada or up in Northern California, and he'll come back in November. He goes, Rich, we tried to leave, but that summer is just too hot for us. So
Right.
we're really doing 5 months in a day, right? We're going to figure out that other month some way, somehow. I'm like, all right, Kevin, like you talk to your CPA, you handle that. I'm just glad that you live here.
So is
So
it a
the
ballpark is 5 months? I thought it was 6 months, but it's five
six
months in a
months,
day.
yeah,
Or
6 months in a day. You have to be
oh,
here for
six
November.
months in a day. Okay. And then you can, but then you can go back and forth. You can live your life and travel and
Yeah.
stuff. So okay, so you've got so people in California, Northern, Southern California, they're coming not necessarily full time, but they're splitting their time so they can have the
Mhm.
tax advantage. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then they can come in the winter or the cooler times. I did not realize until I went. the first time in January, February, how cold it gets there. I was like, oh my God, I always thought it was hot here. So that is very interesting. And then where are other people coming from, other buyers coming from?
They're coming from Seattle,
Mm,
New York, and Texas. Some clients, I've got a client who left California, moved to Dallas. Dallas is too far to travel, so
that's
they're
true.
looking to buy in Vegas before they can buy again in California because of their liquidity event. Right? They're like, I've got to be away from California for 5 years before I come back.
Oh, it has to be 5 years. I did not know
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Dallas is too far for me to fly in to John Wayne Airport, Rich. So we're gonna buy something in Vegas, and then in 2 years buy something else in California. Yeah, California wants that tax money.
So what is life like for you're living there, you live there full time, you have lived there full time. What's it like outside the strip?
We have an incredible community. We have my daughter's in competitive dance. My son is in a flight club at his elementary school. It is, and I'll tell people living in the suburbs of Las Vegas would be like living in Scottsdale or La Jolla,
Okay.
right?
Yep. We had a
Heavy
house
into
in
the yeah, heavy into the golf scene, heavy into fitness with cycling, mountain biking, Lake Mead, easy to get to ski resorts just outside of Las Vegas and into Park City. Um,
Oh.
yeah, it is. I've become the guy I used to make fun of, right? They call me the because I wear the Lululemon, right? And amazing Pilates studios here in Las Vegas. Legree just opened up their third location. So it is. It's funny because I've had friends from Europe come over, and they're like, "If I had never met you, I would have never gone off the strip."
Right.
Like you have this life that is just this suburban life, right? My kids, we live next door to our elementary school, so the kids can walk to school. My
Nice.
wife's the school teacher for fifth grade, so when we walk into Albertson, she's the local celebrity, and I'm known as that's Mrs. Robledo's husband. I'm not rich. No, I've lost my first name when I'm with my wife.
Oh my God, I would not see that with all you've
Yeah,
done.
yeah. And kids see her, they light up, and they're like, "That's Mrs. Robledo's husband," right?
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's great lifestyle. We're still affordable compared to our other large metropolises. Um,
Okay.
and it is just, I thoroughly enjoy living in Las Vegas.
That's amazing. I didn't know there were all those things to do. You just think of, oh, it's so hot, or I guess it could be so cold too. Beyond business, you've been deeply involved with the Salvation Army, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and Caldera Club. How has giving back and how has giving back and shaping policy influenced your success as a leader? We don't have a lot of time, but also tell me what Caldera Club is.
Yeah, so the Caldera Club is a conservative pack, right? I believe that government starts and they don't have a business idea, right? Whether you're, they think that money's just going to always be there, and it's not always going to be there, right? What are the policies that we can do to help businesses stay here, help businesses not leave here, and give our entrepreneurs less barriers to start businesses, right? Whether it's a your mom and pop restaurant or a large company looking to move here, like what are the things that we as a state and city need to give our business community so that they can be successful? So when those taxes are needed, that we can give it to the schools, right? So that we can give
Right.
back to our community and kind of have those conversations because those conversations aren't taught in high school and they're not
Right.
taught in college. And it's just given a group, hey, this is where your taxes are going to. Maybe where the last big bill that did not get passed was Sony Studios opening
Oh,
in Las Vegas.
wow.
Went through the
Did not.
legislature, it did not. It went through the legislature twice, and it's because it was giving too much to the studios, that it would have been a burden on the state to have them move in.
Wow, that's
Right. So
incredible.
it's having thinkers there to kind of have these conversations, and then to ask the younger people, hey, what do you think? Because really, my generation and our parents' generation didn't do a really good job for the kids that are under 30.
Right.
Right. Joe Rogan asked Naval a great question. He goes, Naval, how do you live your life? He goes, I think there's 4 chapters, right? Sacrifice for country, family and business, politics, and philosophy. Right now, people are getting into no sacrifice, not building a business, going into politics to build their family business, and philosophizing. And all of those chapters are kind of convoluted because nobody has done anything, but yet everybody has a great idea,
Right.
and they don't think
Absolutely.
about how that idea is going to affect other people. So I just love that the conversation, because we all want the same thing. We want a great community, a safe community, and opportunities for our kids and grandchildren to help them be successful.
Absolutely. And on that note, I can't believe it. We're going to have to do a part 2 because we've come to the end of the hour. But I do have one question after this interview. So, how many people have asked you to be mayor?
I get asked a couple of times a year. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
People have
everything
asked
from
that of me. Yeah, I
yeah.
can see
People have
that.
asked mayor, city council, state senate, assembly, and congressman.
Well, you've got my vote. I'll come to Las Vegas to vote for you. You're amazing. This has
I
been
appreciate that.
such a great interview. And how could people get a hold of you? And I'm sure there's going to be some people hitting you up for that cigars and conversation as well.
I love it. They can find me on Instagram at Rich_Robledo, the Robledo Group for the website. And Debbie, if anybody that hears this wants to come out, have them DM me directly, and I'd love to host them for a round of golf or a dinner before or after Cigars and Conversations.
I love it. I will post that right now. I had no idea we were live today, but I will post that. And if you're listening, you heard it from Rich. Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to coming to Las Vegas and visiting with you. And I guess I'll plug my nose, but I'll hang out with you guys.
We're outside, Debbie. You don't smell it that much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbi DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.